I picked the loudest.
Ed had so many great quotes. In fact, I have to tell you this funny story. Somebody came up to me at a convention years ago and said, "What's your favorite Ed quote?" I didn't have one. I couldn't even think of one. And so I pulled a fast one. I'm like, "What's your favorite?" Thinking I was getting out of it, right? And this guy goes, "Oh, I love it when you said there are so many people whose asses I have to kick. I'm gonna have to make a list to keep track of them." And I was like, I said that? I didn't even remember saying it. I'm like, okay, that's my new favorite line. I love that line. But as far as the emotional stuff for me is the favorite stuff. It's probably technically kind of the hardest because you need to sound authentic, right? You need to sound real. But I love those kind of moments. The tender, quiet moments between the brothers. I love those scenes. Because, all the rest of the time, Ed's trying to be like, show off, trying to, he's a little punk, and he's questioning authority and, and causing trouble. But then when he's alone with his brother, you see this other side of him where he's not too certain of himself and he's a little scared, you know what I mean? I love those kind of scenes.
Let's go here.
Have either of y'all watched the Dragon Ball Z Abridged series? And if so, what's your favorite line from Broly and Satan?
I don't, yes, 100%. I tried for years to convince Funimation to get Toei to allow them to license it so that they could make it a legit property, so that they could then do a bridge series for all their AAA properties. Because I was always thinking creatively. But I don't remember any 17 lines, I only remember Android 13 lines, which I'm also Android 13. Hey, I'm Android 13, look at my trucker hat. That's my favorite.
I've seen bits and pieces. I've met the guys that do it. The stuff that I've heard, that a lot of people come and tell me about it, is very funny. I guess I talked enough about how hard it was on my voice that one of the actual lines was something like, I didn't even know, it was like, and my... Yeah, no, there you go. Thank you. I knew somebody would save me. Thank you. They even made a joke out of that because, it's a throat ripper. Yes?
For both, what's your favorite voice actor to work with?
1, 2, 3. Big man.
Yeah, Chuck humor.
You failed. I had it right on. You don't really.
I thought you were going to say you. I thought you were going to say myself. Because we're alone.
That's much alone. We get to work with each other on outside projects like Star Trek Continues, and that's always very fun. We get to see each other at conventions, which is always great. There's always, if Vic's around, there's usually cigars, and we sit out at some patio with a fire pit and smoke cigars and
good times.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun.
Very good times. Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people don't realize that you could conceivably do an entire show and never meet the people you work with. It's hard to imagine, but it's...
I didn't meet Meredith McCoy, who plays my sister, until the Battle of Gods premiere. That was the first time I met her.
Well, and the girl that played Ed and Al's mother, Trisha Elric, I never met her. To this day, I don't think I've ever met her. But think about it in terms of technical and recording. How many lines did she have? Let's be generous. 15?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Well, you can record that in a couple hours.
Yeah.
And you record alone, which means if I'm not in the studio for some reason, she's in and out. Trisha Elric is done. And if she doesn't do conventions, and to my knowledge at the time she didn't, you would never meet her. Some of my favorite relationships with other voice actors have been convention, because you get to talk to them and interact with them and hang out a little bit. You don't get to do that in the studio. I met Travis Willingham and even Aaron Dismuke, who played Al in the first Full Metal. We were well into the show recording, and the weird thing is you hear them in your ears. So you think you know them. At least I do. Maybe I'm weird about this. But I really feel like I have, you know what I mean? I feel like I have a friendship with these people because I hear their voice and we're doing this beautiful thing together. And I feel like there's this bonding that takes place when you create something together. And I know their voices so well, especially Al's, right? Especially my brother. But I hadn't yet met him. So when I finally did a convention with Travis, it was like, oh my gosh, dude, I love what you're doing with Mustang. Oh yeah, it's so great, it's so great. And then when I met Aaron, I'm like, brother. And he was like, from here to this guy here in the burgundy shirt. It was Akon in Dallas. And I was walking with like the person who was helping me get around, like, you need to be here at 1:30 and here at 4. And this person said, see that kid right there? That's Aaron Dismuke. He plays your brother in Full Metal. And I literally went, brother! And I go running up to him, and remember, he's 12. I mean, I'm just like, that's my brother. I know this kid, right? I know him. He was with his mom and his, what's his little brother's name? Jay, so Judge.
It's Judge.
And he was in a stroller. And I mean, his little brother was. And I run up and he's like he wasn't sure what to make of it. Like, obviously I didn't look angry. I looked like I had never seen, looking forward to seeing it my whole life. But then when he realized that I was playing his older brother, then it was all cool. But again, you don't even get to meet some of these people sometimes that you work with.
I'm going down the aisle.
I just realized, what is a typical day for a voice actor, for a main character voice actor, waking up, doing whatever they gotta do during the day, and then going to bed?
I've never been a main character, so you have to figure this one.
or a working, like, you've got like
A working voice actor. Well, I mean, a lot of people think that like you wake up every day and you go to the studio. You have stretches. I had stretches where that would happen, and you'd be stoked, especially back in the day when they were paying us $35 an hour. If you got an extra, 20 hours that month, you were like, hell yeah, dude, $700. That's a lot of money in 1998 or whatever it was for an actor. But the job of the actor is to just asked to fail a lot. You're always seeking out new jobs, new auditions, and taking care of your own body. But like if it were a voiceover session day, it's on your mind when you wake up, and it's on your mind back in the day, be on your mind the night before. You'd be like, guys, I gotta go home, I got a session. You're at the bar with your friends or whatever, trying to, I gotta be up tomorrow to focus and make things happen. But you wake up and you just sort of look at your schedule and then go do the job. And then at night, I have a lot of children, so it's mostly about children.
What he said, except for the children part.
I had all the children for Vic. I had 9. He's got 0. 9 and 0.
Yeah, you basically, you go in, you audition for something and you get cast, or if there's a director that you've worked with before and he knows your work and he knows your range and he likes working with you, you're quick, you're efficient, very important things in a business. How quickly can you get it done? Because time is money, ultimately, right? And they'll call you in and they'll give you they'll calculate how many lines your character has for this number of episodes. Let's say in 3 episodes, you have 48 lines. So they'll say, okay, that should take you roughly an hour and a half. Let's just pick some numbers, right? So they'll book you from 1:30 to 3 or 10 to 11:30. You show up, you go into the studio you're supposed to, that they're recording that show in, and the director will say, okay, go to page 21. And your character has, first line is number 9 there on the page, you look it up. They'll play you a little bit of the scene to kind of get you in the mood and get an idea of what's happening. And you're watching it and you're kind of following along with the script because you're just seeing picture. The English dialogue is on a screen or a script in front of you. And you kind of rehearse it a little bit in your mind, and then the director's like, okay, you good? Let's go. And that's pretty much how it works. You know, the quicker you can get it done, the more they like you, because it gives them time to clean up other sessions and take care of things maybe they didn't get taken care of yet.
Back in the day, Sabat used to call it a Chuck Huber session when they would leave the studio early and go to the bar. Because I would crush my sessions and they would leave the studio early and go to the bar.
Or they'll have you jump over and do some incidental characters. Like if they book you for 2 hours and you're done in an hour and a half, the guy will go, okay, I got a couple of these little, they don't even have names, right? Guy behind bush, you know, or woman at bar, you know, it could be anything. And it's just literally like a one line or a, you know, or a chuckle or a reaction, and they just need those spaces filled in. So if you finish early, they'll kind of jump around the episode a little bit and find little spaces for you to fill in. I did one time, 5 minutes, thank you 5. I did one show one time many years ago called Aura Battler Dunby. No one's even heard of it. But I played this main character, and when we finished, they said, oh, I need you to do this other guy. It's just this guy, he's on this ox cart, and he's driving down, he's riding down the dirt, the muddy wooden cart in the middle of the street, and he yells something out. Okay, so he did it and didn't think anything about it. Like 2 weeks later, I go in to record the main character again for the next set of episodes, and the director's like, you're not gonna believe it. The card guy is back. And he's not an incidental guy. Suddenly he's like standing around the table while they're strategizing an attack, and I'm like, oh no. Like, what's card guy doing here? Why is he even here?
Yeah, back in the day, they didn't get a lot of, they didn't know what was coming up, so sometimes they'd cast you as a little 2-line role, and suddenly it's the main villain, and you're like, sweet.
Yes, sir.